to you quickly about nature spirits, if we can,
Yeah.
just to jam on that for a second, because
Yeah.
I've always been connected to the fairy kingdom. Ever
Yes.
since I was young, I've always really felt, in tune with that. I understood that. But I still feel that, nature spirits they're not as talked about as widely. I don't know why. I think there's sometimes fear around being, taken down the
100%.
little fairy garden. And
100%.
I think sometimes there's always that sort of trickery. Like, I know I've had experiences where I've lost my keys and I've gone, where the fairies have taken my keys.
Yeah.
I guess I would love to know a little bit about your connection with nature spirits. How do you define nature spirits? How, if somebody at home was interested in even getting involved in exploring that kind of kingdom, how would you recommend that they do that?
I understand a lot of the fear around nature spirits. I call them elementals. I myself have very healthy respect for them because they have different motivations, that their soul is of a different vibration to human souls. So their motivations and their delights are completely different to what ours are. So there are certain examples of where we can be in a symbiotic relationship with them, but there has to be, I feel like, a tremendous amount of respect paid to them. Not for the fact that they want to be respected, but their culture is completely different. This is just from my point of view and from what I've worked out. Connecting with nature, like nature spirits, it all comes down to respecting nature. So if you're leaving your rubbish behind and things like that, because a lot of us are living into so many built up areas now, like you really do have to go out, and you have to go out to places where not many people go. And it really is, it's like with anything that's with the subtle senses, you've got to sit and you've really got to tune in. Children do it so easily because they have no baggage, they have no fears or belief systems from behind it, unless something gives them a little bit of a fright. Like when my brother and I started really communing with them was when on the property that we had, we still actually have it in the family, there was this place we used to go collect crystals. So it's like a subjugation of black tourmaline, smoky quartz. For kids, it's like you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And we used to take them, but there's times when we didn't put something back in the soil or we didn't say thank you. And either terrible dreams or little clicky noises at night, just little things, But as a child, I remember it as being terribly frightening. And but then we'd pay our respects and we'd go and we'd either bury fruit in the ground or wherever we took them from. But it's having a balance. And I think it is just tuning in, like even touching a tree, because I believe that every living thing has a spirit within it. And it's tuning into that thing of nature. Like it's just being an equilibrium with it. That's what I think it is. And respecting that you are not, you have to respect it. It's like going into somebody's house. You can't go there and not flush the toilet and yell really loudly or eat the food out of the cupboard. You've got to go there with respect and be a part of it as opposed to being an intruder. So that's how I would begin.
That's beautiful. And I know that for me, I read the Doreen Virtue book. I've got it up here. I can't remember what it's called. It's like 101, Fairies 101 or something. But she was talking about it as well in terms of when you look at the trees, you can see sometimes the tree spirit, you can see face. And I always saw 100%. Faces everywhere all the time. So yeah, but I love that you're talking about that balance of giving and taking. And just even that awareness that when you are taking, you are taking.
Yes.
So how can you, one thing that I think you might be interested in, and this just came to me, I think it was, oh my God, her name is I've got her deck somewhere here. Sorry, while I'm talking. Okay. Her name will come to me in a second.
Yeah.
But I learned this technique, and she was basically talking about how when you go and you pick flowers or you're doing any kind of cultivating, that you actually leave a strand of your hair as an exchange. So I've been doing that. Yeah. And I think that was a really is an interesting thing. It's just the idea of that exchange of energy.
Yeah. Well, I teach my children from a very young age, because I have a massive vegetable garden. We always say thank you to the garden. Every time we take even a leaf, say thank you. But if we're collecting shells or rocks or things like that, I teach them to put their hands on the ground and to put love energy into the ground to say thank you. Because if you have nothing to give, then you've got your love, which is the most precious thing. But to always return energy for energy. So and after 100 shells, it really gets a lot. But
Yeah, that's so good.
It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, there's got to be an exchange.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just taking.
Yeah, I love that. And it was Denise Lynn I learned that from, just for a listener.
Denise Lynn. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, she's so good.